They say the storm rages outside, but it's the one within that truly tests us. We are all just shadows, searching for the light. I had always imagined paradise as a kind of library. And then the storm came. We construct our lives like scaffolding. But what happens when the scaffolding begins to bend? And the quarter where the life did state of prophecies of Bennett Mare. We tell ourselves stories in order to live. We tell ourselves that we are heroes or victims or bystanders. But the truth is, we are all just trying to make sense of the chaos. Success, it's just a word. A very loud, empty word. I had all the trappings of success, but it was a gilded cage. I was respected, even admired, but I was alone. The content of the voice ball is not specified. It's a funny thing, emptiness. You don't know it's there until it's all you have. I used to think the city was full of possibilities. Now it just feels like a reminder of all the roads not taken. We build our lives on the fragile foundation of what we believe to be true, only to find the ground can shift without warning. I move through the world, but I don't feel a part of it. I smile, I nod, I play the part, but it's just a mask. And sometimes I wonder if the mask is all that's left. The world is loud, and the noise, it never stops. You just keep moving, keep working, keep typing, keep walking. But inside, you're not really there. I keep telling myself everything is fine, that this is just a phase. But the truth is, I can't shake the feeling that something is about to change. That I'm standing on the edge of a precipice and I have no idea what's on the other side. It began, as all such things do, with a storm. They run from the storm, but the storm is only a shadow of what's coming. I never saw him there before. In the midst of the storm's chaos, there is a profound stillness, to simply be, without the need to do, to watch, and in watching, understand. Some men find their peace in the storm, others their purpose. But
How can you be so certain of these things?
I have walked many paths, Adrian. The answers are not in the questions, but in the walking itself. And in the midst of the storm, the tree does not resist the wind. It bends, and in the bending, it finds its strength.
What does that mean?
It means the storm outside isn't the one exhausting you.
For some reason, those words landed heavily, as though the stranger had somehow read his thoughts.
The old man pointed toward the city. People spend their lives trying to control things they were never meant to control. The future, the opinions of others, success, failure, time, luck. They fight reality every day and wonder why they feel tired. Tell me something. Can you control the wind? No. Can you stop the rain? No. Can you command tomorrow to arrive exactly as you planned? The old man smiled, Adrian. Then why spend your life demanding certainty from an uncertain world?
The question followed Adrian long after the conversation ended. For days, he couldn't stop thinking about it. Then weeks passed. Life continued. Until the morning everything collapsed. The phone rings. His company was restructuring. Budgets were shrinking. Positions were being eliminated. His position included. A few brief sentences erased years of effort. When the call ended, Adrian sat motionless.
The room suddenly felt unfamiliar. The future he had imagined disappeared within minutes.
Fear arrived immediately. What if I never recover? What if I fail? What if this changes everything? His thoughts became relentless. Day and night they attacked him. Sleep became difficult. Peace became impossible. The storm inside him grew stronger than ever. One night, unable to bear the anxiety any longer, he remembered the old man's words.
Most people are running from the wrong storm. For the first time in years, Adrian stopped distracting himself.
He turned off the television, put away his phone, sat alone in silence, and faced his thoughts. At first, it felt unbearable. Regrets surfaced. Old mistakes appeared. Forgotten fears returned. The experience felt like standing in darkness surrounded by ghosts.
Everything he had spent years avoiding now stood before him. Yet something unexpected happened. The thoughts did not destroy him.
The fears did not consume him. The memories did not break him. They appeared. They stayed. Then they slowly passed. The fears did not consume him. The memories did not break him. They appeared. They stayed. Then they slowly passed.
Like clouds crossing the sky. For the first time, Adrian began to understand something.
He was not his thoughts. He was the awareness observing them. Weeks later, he returned to the shelter. The old man was there again, watching the rain, watching the world.
Watching nothing at all. You came back.
I lost my job.
The old man nodded. And?
Adrian frowned. And what?
And are you still breathing?
Yes.
Is the sun still rising?
Yes.
Has life ended?
No.
The old man smiled.
Interesting.
Adrian couldn't help laughing.
The old man continued. People confuse events with endings. Losing something does not mean losing yourself. A storm may strip leaves from a tree. It cannot touch the roots. Unless the tree leaves, unless the forgets where its strength lives.
Those words remained with Adrian. Months passed. Slowly, he rebuilt parts of his life. Not perfectly, not quickly, but steadily. Then another storm arrived. This time, it was not financial. It was personal. His father became seriously ill. Hospital visits replaced normal life. Days became uncertain. Fear returned. Only this time it felt heavier. Because this storm involved someone he loved. Every hospital corridor seemed endless. Every conversation with doctors carried hidden tension. Every ring of the phone caused his heart to race. For months, he lived between hope and fear. Then one evening, while sitting beside his father's bed, something happened.
His father opened his eyes and smiled. A tired smile, a peaceful smile. "My son," he whispered.
The kind of smile that comes from someone who has stopped fighting reality. Adrian leaned closer. His father spoke softly.
Life is not asking you to be fearless.
Adrian listened carefully.
It is asking you to remain present while fear is here.
Those words settled deep inside him, deeper than any advice he had ever received.
They felt like truth. The kind of truth that remains long after the speaker is gone.
Several weeks later, the call came. The kind of call that divides a life into two chapters. Before and after, his father was gone. The world did not stop. Cars continued moving. People continued laughing. The city continued breathing. Yet Adrian felt as though time itself had cracked. Grief arrived quietly at first, then all at once.
A photograph could trigger it. A familiar song could trigger it. An empty chair could trigger it.
The scent of an old jacket could trigger it. Every memory carried both warmth and pain. For weeks, he struggled.
Part of him wanted to escape the feeling. Part of him wanted to bury it. Part of him wanted to pretend he was stronger than he really was.
But another part remembered the lesson. Meet the storm instead of avoiding it. So he allowed himself to grieve. He cried when tears came. He sat quietly when silence came.
He remembered when memories came. And slowly he began to notice something extraordinary. Pain was not his enemy.
Resistance was. The more he resisted grief, the heavier it became. The more he accepted it, the lighter it felt. One afternoon, he returned once again to the old shelter. The old man sat exactly where he always sat,
Watching the sky. Watching the clouds drift overhead. Adrian sat beside him.
For a long time, neither spoke. Finally, Adrian broke the silence.
If acceptance is so important, why does loss hurt so much?
The old man smiled gently. Because some questions deserve patience, not immediate answers. He pointed toward the horizon. The storm clouds were moving away. Sunlight was beginning to break through. Tell me, do you hate the sunset because it ends?
Adrian looked confused.
No.
Then why hate a life because it finishes?
The question lingered in the air. The old man continued.
Everything beautiful is temporary. The seasons, the sunrise, the flowers.
The people we love. Their temporary nature is what makes them precious.
Adrian listened quietly. The old man picked up a fallen leaf.
Most people suffer because they demand permanence from a world built on change. They want certainty. They want guarantees. They want every beautiful moment to stay forever. But life was never designed that way. He released the leaf into the wind. It drifted away gracefully, naturally, without resistance. Life is a river, the old man said. You cannot stop it. You cannot possess it. You can only experience it.
For the first time, Adrian felt something inside him soften.
Not because his pain disappeared, but because he stopped arguing with reality. Months turned into years. Life continued. New opportunities arrived. New friendships formed. New challenges appeared. There were successes. There were failures.
There were joyful days and difficult ones. The storms never stopped coming.
But Adrian was changing. Whenever fear appeared, he no longer asked, "How do I make this disappear?" Instead, he asked, "What is this here to teach me?" Whenever uncertainty arrived, he stopped treating it like an enemy.
Whenever loss appeared, he remembered that love and grief often traveled together, resisting the feeling. Gradually, a deep peace began to emerge.
Not the fragile peace that depends on perfect circumstances, but a stronger peace. A quiet peace. A peace that remained even when life became difficult. One morning, several years later, Adrian returned to the shelter, the place where everything had begun.
But this time it was empty. No old man. No footprints. No explanation. Only silence. At first he felt disappointed.
He had hoped to thank him, to tell him how much those conversations had changed his life. But as he stood there, another realization appeared.
The old man had never been meant to stay forever. He had been a guide, a reminder,
A mirror. His purpose was not to walk Adrian's path. His purpose was to help Aiden discover it for himself.
Adrian smiled. For the first time, he understood completely. Wisdom is not something another person can give you. It is something life reveals when you are willing to pay attention. Years later, Adrian stood overlooking the ocean. Dark clouds gathered across the horizon. Thunder echoed in the distance. Another storm was approaching. The younger version of himself would have felt afraid. The younger version of himself would have searched for shelter. The younger version of himself would have worried about what might happen next. But not anymore. He stood quietly, feeling the wind against his face, watching the waves rise and fall, watching the clouds move across the sky. And suddenly he saw the truth that had been there all along. The storm had never been the problem. The fear of the storm was. Life had always been uncertain.
Life had always been changing. Life had always contained loss and beauty and endings and beginnings.
The suffering came from demanding that reality be different than what it was. The suffering came from fighting what could not be controlled.
The suffering came from forgetting that storms are part of the journey, not interruptions to it.
As the first drops of rain began to fall, Adrian closed his eyes. Not to escape the storm, but to experience it fully. The wind grew stronger. The rain grew heavier. Thunder rolled across the sea.
Yet deep within, there was stillness. A stillness untouched by weather, untouched by success,
Untouched by failure, untouched by fear, untouched by loss.
For the first time in his life, he understood what freedom truly meant. Freedom was not controlling every outcome. Freedom was not avoiding pain.
Freedom was not creating a perfect life. Freedom was the ability to remain present, regardless of what life brought. To stand calmly in uncertainty. To remain open in loss. To remain grateful in difficulty.
To remain awake in a sleeping world. The storm continued. The ocean continued.
The wind continued. And Adrian stood peacefully among them. Not resisting, not running, not running, not demanding, simply standing. Present, aware, alive, and finally free.
Perhaps the storm you fear today is not here to destroy you. Perhaps it is here to reveal your strength. Perhaps it is here to teach you patience. Perhaps it is here to help you discover a deeper version of yourself. Because every storm eventually passes. But the person you become while standing inside it can remain forever.
If this story brought a moment of clarity to your mind or peace to your soul, please leave a like and subscribe to Elevate Morals TV. Let us continue this journey of wisdom together. May your path ahead be filled with purpose and peace. Thank you for watching, and take deep care of yourself.